Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the show that shall not be named. I was talking to my brother on the phone, and we were talking about drawing ideas. He suggested something MC Escher-ish, so I thought, a simplified version of that would be maybe the impossible Penrose triangle. So that's what we're doing today. I'm going to start by using my triangle here to line it out. It's a little strange, but basically it's three kind of triangles that get smaller. If that makes any sense, like there's one that goes around the outside edge, there's one in the center, and then one in the middle, and then one in the center, right? And then they're all overlapping, and then you can erase the lines that cross over, and bam, you have yourself an impossible triangle. And then you just shade it, three different values on the different faces, and you're good to go. But that is not what we're doing today. We are going to use the power of automatic drawing, doodling, surrealism, all that stuff, and we're going to make it the Impossiblest triangle. So I'm coming through with my fine nib fountain pen here, and I'm just making up some crisscrossy weirdness bits, I guess is what I'm calling them. And yeah, I'm just, drawing on the automatic drawing stuff that I've been doing to create a lot of these shapes, kind of referring back to the stuff that I've done. So I would say this is partially automatic drawing, what I'm doing here, but there's a lot more intentionality to this type of stuff. I'm setting out with an objective to make, parts of it crisscross and all that kind of stuff, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, I'm coming through and just making it interesting, I guess, whatever I can think of. Lots of overlapping stuff. And then, I'm going to start on the shading here. There's three faces on the impossible triangle, and one is usually shaded very dark, one's a medium tone, and one's left blank, typically. There's all kinds of different ways you can do it, but so what I'm starting out doing here is doing some hatching, and then I plan on cross hatching over this to make it the dark side. And so I go through, I hatch all this texture in, and then you'll see I come through and I cross hatch over it, and eventually I decide that it's not dark enough and I go darker. But that's kind of, when you've never done something like this before, it's kind of, you kind of have to roll with it. So yeah, I'm just coming through and picking out contours that I imagine or, see based off of the lines that I've already done. And I'm just having fun coming through. Nothing too specific on this part. And then here if you can see it, I'm coming through with the cross hatching in this part. And this was to darken it up. I wanted this to be the shadow side, so really dark. It ends up not being dark enough, but we will see in a little bit how I resolve that. Lots of cross-hatching here. Just going over the whole dark section. And then that kind of tube coming off. Well, I guess there's three now that I'm looking at it. Those I kind of had fade out. So, because you want those to get lighter. And then this is supposed to be the medium side here. So I come through with some hatching and just some like single direction hatching. And I'm just picking out contours again. Having fun with it. Making up little doodads as I go along. Little gibbets. And as I'm coming to the end here, I think I noticed, well, I guess I'm continuing here, but I noticed back there that the value wasn't, it's a little bit different, but it's not quite as drastic as I wanted it to be. But I decided to continue anyways with the light edge. This is the light one. This is the one facing upward. Just to get all three faces, you know, kind of roughly where I wanted them to be, and then adjust them accordingly at the end. That way I'm not basing the darkness of the dark one off of, you know, just the medium one. You know, I wanted them all to have contrast and relate to each other. So and this one was mostly just contour lining. There's almost no hatching on this one. I'm just coming through and imagining lumps and bumps and wiggles and squiggles. And shading accordingly. Doing some contour hatching on this kind of tube shape here. And adding some little details. And then here's where I came through and started doing some cross hatching over top of it with the fine nib again. And this is three-way cross hatching at this point. So there'll be hatching that goes one way, and then there'll be cross hatching that goes across it, and then you can cross, you know, almost like an asterisk, right? A third direction, and you can get some really dark values that way. I think the paper was pretty damp at this point. The really dark cross hatching almost starts to feel like the paper's wet. I'll start pulling in a napkin because I'm feeling like I'm smudging stuff around. I don't think there was a whole lot of smudging on this one, thankfully, so that was nice. And then, yeah, just having those edges fade out. Then I decided to do cross-hatching on the medium side here. To get it slightly darker than the light side. I think that's where the contrast, I was losing the contrast, was between the light and the medium side mostly. And it was kind of between all three sides. It didn't have enough contrast, but mostly between the light and the medium. They were kind of hard to tell apart, so I wanted to come through and fix that. And just fixing little details. Here I'm coming through with some hatching. Some of the pieces coming out towards the edge. I didn't want these to have the same value as the faces they were connected to, because I wanted them to kind of feel like they were, shooting in all sorts of different directions. So I just kind of eyeballed it and did what felt natural. I try to keep kind of a maybe 2 o'clock sort of light source in mind when I'm doing something like this. It's just kind of crazy, that way it kind of gives me just a point of reference. And then, yeah, I'm just coming through and doing some more little automatic doodles, dealies, whatever we're calling them. And then, yeah, bulking up the peripheral line definitely helped a lot on this one. It gave everything a lot more contrast, which was nice. I'll do about half of it here and then come back after it's had a chance to dry a little bit and finish up the other half, the top edges or whatever. And here I'm doing a little bit of shadowing behind some of the overlapping pieces just to give it a little more depth. It felt a little flat, so why not? Why not, right? Oh, dealy boppers, hatching. I only use the 2 pens on this, the fine and the extra fine. And lots of little textures. I was having a lot of fun with this part up here. It kind of looks like a weird, like, mutant amphibian sort of thing to me, anyways. I try to make everything kind of look like it's part plant and part animal and part fungus, so. And sometimes mechanical. I like to throw it all together, get real crazy with it if I can. And yeah, more contouring, contour shading, hatching. These I kind of imagine like the ends of bones at the top there. And then I stopped there on that shading because I wanted the ends of those frond looking things to be solid black, so I just left the hatching because I planned on coming through at the end and just filling that in solid. So, and yeah, I'll do that right there. But yeah, that's about that. I'm going to put a border on it. Thanks for watching. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe if you feel so inclined. And thank you to my patrons on Patreon. If you guys are interested in any of that stuff, all the links are down in the description. And I will see you on the next one. All right. Bye-bye now.